So I wanted to speak today just specifically to those of you who are overwhelmed because of so much momentum, or those of you that are scared to do the work out of fear that you're going to be overwhelmed because of so much momentum. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, so I'm going to tell a story today for the people in network marketing who are at the top of their game. You are drowning in momentum. This is something that is common for those of you that are here in the podcast, especially those of you that are over inside of the Beyond the Rank community. Because when you learn the systems that I teach you and you start getting tons of enrollments and you have lots of business builders that are all pumping at the same time, sometimes what happens is you get completely overwhelmed and you feel like you are drowning in three-way messages, in team messages, in your own personal people, trying to keep people on orders. All of these things are what I teach you over inside Beyond the Rank. If you joined us for Ignite Week, you have all this in your pocket forever. And so I wanted to speak today just specifically to those of you who are overwhelmed because of so much momentum, or those of you that are scared to do the work out of fear that you're going to be overwhelmed because of so much momentum. I know that there are many of you here that are already at the top of your company. Others, you're like, I'm just trying to get an enrollment. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here today because I'm going to teach you how to do that. Just keep tuning into the podcast. I'll keep sharing all the magic and you're going to start seeing success and make money in your network marketing business. But I want to go back and tell you a story about something that happened almost 4 years ago today. And that was back in February of 2020, literally days before the world shut down. I flew to Australia for an event for a network marketing company, and I went to go train at their first ever Learn to Lead event. And I was able to not only train in Australia, but I then they flew me over to train in New Zealand as well. And it was just the most amazing experience. I love my Aussies and my Kiwis. It was so much fun. Anyway, I wrote 2 trainings for that event, but the goat farm goes down in the books as my favorite analogy I've ever taught on any stage. Now, I had been to Kona, Hawaii, just a few weeks prior for a team retreat. And once you have a team where you have lots of workers, which is what I teach you how to do here, you get enrollments, then you get people to post, you get them to get momentum on your team. You're signing people up, they're signing people up, and your team is booming. And I also teach you inside Beyond the Rank how to create retreats so that you can not have to rely just on company retreats and convention things and things like that to keep your team going. So I actually have inside of Beyond the Rank a 37-page workbook on how to start from zero to have hundreds of people on your team that are earning retreats, and how to do those either within your own state, on stateside, or even in Hawaii, or even internationally. I have all that for you inside Beyond the Rank. If you ever are interested in checking that out, I do free calls every single Tuesday and Thursday where you can come check out what Beyond the Rank community is all about. And I'll put that in the show notes here. You can also go to my Instagram, Beyond the Rank and Co. And the sign up link for those free calls is always there on that Instagram account, ready for you to just snag a free call with me. Come check it out and you can see if it's the right fit for you. So anyway, I had just been to Kona, Hawaii for this team retreat that we had put on, and it happened the first week of February, 4 years ago this week. It's crazy. And it was just a few weeks before I did this Australia international training event for this network marketing company. And I found that when we got to Kona, our assistant it was a team retreat that we had all planned together. And our assistant, we had all planned to go and ride bikes to the lava flow on Kona. My business partner and I, we had done this activity years before, back in 2016. And we wanted the nostalgia of it. We thought it would be fun to take 40 women that had earned this retreat on our team to go do this activity. You rode bikes to the lava flow, and then we would get lunch and then come back, and it was going to take all day. And so it was just like the big activity of this retreat. But the night before, our assistant called us in a panic at like 11 o'clock at night. And she's like, oh my gosh, the lava is not currently flowing on Kona. And we were like, okay, what the heck are we going to do with 40 women unplanned? And we are supposed to leave in 8 hours for this activity. So on a whim, our assistant had this great idea. She's like, there's this fun jungle hike that we had remembered doing on our first trip to Kona, our first, big trip that we had ever earned in network marketing. And so we were like, let's go do the jungle hike. And then our assistant said, right around there is this goat farm. And so after you do the hike, you can go to this goat farm on the way back, and that'll take up a couple of hours, and it'll be perfect to take the women there. And so all 40 of us rolled onto that jungle hike and had the most amazing time. And then about 5 minutes before we showed up at the goat farm, our assistant said, maybe we should call the goat farm and let them know that there are 40 of us coming. So she called and said, hi, we're going to have 40 women that we're bringing. We're looking to play with the goats, feed the goats, have a good time for a little while. We're going to be on our way. And the goat farm people said, oh yeah, sure. When are you coming? And she said, in about 5 minutes. And they said, oh, wow. Okay. So no time to prepare. So anyway, we showed up on that goat farm, and I want you to imagine 40 women on an empty goat farm full of goats, and a little tiny goat farm in the middle of nowhere on Kona, Hawaii. We bought everything in that little shop. It was just a one-room, tiny little shop. Every soap, every piece of fudge, goat cheese, stuffed goat animal, Ritz cracker, whatever existed inside of there, we pretty much bought it up in the first 5 minutes. And the shop was owned by an older retired couple that just lived on the goat farm year round. And that goat farm was sort of this like little nest egg that, when one or two tourists went to this hike or around driving on Kona, it's middle of nowhere, but if someone drove by, they might stop by and buy, a little piece of cheese, or, maybe a couple dollars in goat feed. Oh, the goats are so fun, whatever. And so, literally we showed up and bought everything. It looked like they had been robbed. That's how much we cleared them out of house and home. And at one point, the woman that owned the goat shop, she was telling us inside the shop, just take as much goat feed for free. You don't even have to pay us to feed the goats, because her husband had gone out back to make more goat cheese and fudge for us. And she didn't want us to worry. She wanted us just to go keep busy feeding the goats, because he was going to be right back. And what I noticed that day was that we were probably giving them more business in 1 hour on one day than all the business they would get in an entire year. They didn't get overwhelmed. They didn't turn us away. They didn't put a closed sign up. There was a line out the door, and they were so excited. They didn't say sold out. They were literally milking the goats in the back to make us more goat cheese and more fudge. They knew that they could rest later, and that the masses wouldn't always be there. They needed to strike while the iron was hot. Has anyone here listening on the podcast today ever been overwhelmed with their business? Maybe you are right now. Maybe you grew super fast, or you're scared of growing super fast. And so you're actually resisting momentum for the first time, or you're resisting doing it again. I want you to remember the goat farm. 1 month after we bought out their entire store, tourism ended in Hawaii for almost 2 years. I've always wondered if we really did give them a year's worth of business that one day in February of 2020. I bet they were exhausted after we left. I also bet they didn't have any other sales the rest of the year and maybe the year after that. When money called, they answered. You get to apply this story to your business in whatever way serves you best. But what I want you to remember is that whenever I've had a new runner on my team, a new worker, or whether I've felt like everything has dried up, I just always remember that goat farm in the middle of nowhere on Kona, Hawaii, and tell myself, you never know when the next wave of momentum is coming. And you also know you never know when the next drought is coming. So when you have someone banging on your door, a line out the door, and you're overwhelmed because of all the messages, or you're scared of that happening to you, I want you to remember the goat farm. Are you going to be the type of person that has a line out the door that's going to put the closed sign up because you're too stressed out and too overwhelmed? Or are you going to be the type of person that's milking the goat in the back, trying to make more cheese and fudge for all the people that are knocking at your door? One thing is for darn sure about network marketing: momentum comes in waves. When you consistently work your business all year long, you're going to have consistent momentum year after year after year. You're going to see the waves, but your back office isn't really going to reflect those waves, and no one else is going to notice it except for you. But if you are someone who works your business, gets overwhelmed, and then takes a break, works your business, gets overwhelmed, and then takes a break, works your business, gets overwhelmed, takes a break, what you're going to notice is that it's so much harder every single time because you're not in that rhythm. And you're likely resisting it because you're afraid of 40 people out your door at the goat farm. So I want you to I want to invite you to take this story today and take heart. Look at what you're so scared of when momentum comes. And typically, what I see in myself and what I see in others is if you're scared about what momentum does to your business, what you're forgetting is that it's not going to last. And so if you can run when your runners want to run, if you can put all of your fears aside and just remember, it's not going to be this way forever. Tomorrow, all the women are going to go home. They're not going to be standing at your goat farm. You may not have another customer for the rest of the year, but you have 40 women sitting at your goat farm today. You better believe I'm going to be milking the goats out back, just like that retired couple in the middle of Kona. I get chills when I think about how they had no idea that there wasn't going to be any business for them the rest of the year. And I like to believe that they thought about us throughout the whole pandemic and how that was probably an answer to prayers for them after the fact. So anyway, whatever is going on in your business right now, if you're going through a hard time, whether it's a drought or a wave of momentum that's suffocating you, I hope you'll remember the goat farm. And I hope you'll share this podcast episode with someone that needs it just as much as you. If you're interested in coming to find out systems to help create momentum that might need someone to listen to the goat farm, join me on my free calls that I do every single Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, Thursday at noon Mountain Time. And you can go on over to Instagram, Beyond the Rank & Co. to sign up for a free call there. And I'll see you there. If you are like Emily, I'm getting so much value here on the podcast, and you're already making significant strides in your business because of what I'm sharing with you here for absolutely free. I hope that you will come over and join me inside of the Beyond the Rank community for your next wave of momentum in your business. All right, everybody, have an amazing week, and here's to the goat farm. Bye now.